everybody, como esta? It's Kaipacha with the weekly Pele report. This one is for June 17th of 2026. Preparing for the solstice. Oh my word. I wanted to give you a good shot of this because I am now the steward of this land. I closed escrow on Monday, man. And there's going to be a lot of paleo reports down here because rather than drive to the river, I'm going to walk down the hill to my swimming hole. This is my swimming hole here. There's my little pet fish. Can you see him? Oh my God. I went and did it. It's all off grid. I get my water out of this river. Compost toilet, solar power. I'm way out there at the end of a dead end road. Just where I want to be. For Chiron going into Taurus. Big shift. I'm going to talk about that today. Chiron does go into Taurus here on Friday. But really only goes up to 52 minutes. And by mid-September, retrogrades. Stations back into Aries, okay, in mid-September. So we got, less than 3 months of Chiron in Taurus. Back to Aries. And then finally goes back retrograde to 26 degrees by February of 27. And will return to Aries, to start the good 7-year journey. Taurus, I'm sorry. Will return to Taurus starting that 7-year journey really next April. So we're just going to get a little taste here of what it's like to have Chiron in Taurus. And I will be talking about that. The beautiful thing is that the sun, as the sun goes into Cancer, there's a beautiful sextile to that Chiron. So that's very beautiful, and that is coming up, basically the solstice in the northern hemisphere, the longest day of the year is happening on Sunday. And that is exactly when the sun sextiles Chiron. And at the same time, on that same day, the moon, which is just now today going into Leo. Okay, there was a beautiful moon Mercury conjunction, and then now it's going to be conjuncting with Jupiter. Then it comes around to conjunct with Venus. You get the idea of what this mantra is about this week, because the moon is just passing through Leo beautifully until Friday. Goes into Virgo. I'm looking up the hill here. There, I have a little miner's cabin. There's a little miner's shack. There's the trail to get down here. I'm up that hill there. I got 10 acres. So this whole stretch here, as far as you can see in both directions, is I need to take care of that for the Great Mother. I'm very excited about this, you can tell. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it on the Bailey report. So moon goes into Virgo on Friday, right? And into Libra. And it's really amazing that first quarter square moon is at 0 degrees, 32 minutes of Libra to 0 degrees, 32 minutes of Cancer, which is right at, so we are at the, this is the cardinal cross, the great axis of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn that defines the 4 directions. Super, super powerful. So the last thing that, we could be talking about here is that this moon conjunct Venus is also opposite Pluto today. So you may be feeling, or have some upsets coming up, with finances, with love, with, your sense of self, stability. Anyway, I'll find a place to sit down around here with a nice backdrop and talk to you about all this astrology. Okay. All right, everybody. I just posted this article in my school Telegram chat about how scientists have now proven that spending time in nature has a calming effect on the brain. And they go through all of the chemicals and all of the impacts of looking at green and all this kind of stuff. The kind of thing that's like kind of common sense, but now it's that now they're proving it. So that makes it, that makes it more important. That makes it more real now that the scientists have proven it. But anyway, yeah, this mantra for this week, I'm going to read you the Sabian symbol for this week. We're looking at a moon, Venus, Jupiter, stellium going on this week with, Mercury close by. And there's a big shift, and I think you're going to be feeling it if you're not feeling it already. That we have that new moon in Gemini, and Uranus conjunct Sedna, conjunct Ceres, conjunct Gemini, and the mercurial buzz. I mean, it's been pretty hectic, and this is going to be changing for a little bit. I want to say we have a little respite happening here for a couple more weeks. Just a couple more weeks till the end of the month, pretty much. Mars will be in Taurus, and Chiron will be in Taurus, and Jupiter will be in Cancer. And there will, and the Sun is now in Cancer, right? And Mercury will be going into Cancer a little later, but this this whole thing that's going on is from air to water, right? And Mars is in Earth. So let's just talk about Earth. Let's talk about this Chiron in Taurus. Taurus is about survival, and there's so many like different angles or ways or things to talk about Taurus, right? On the global level, it has to do with the Strait of Hormuz, and the whole supply chain, right? Stopping up fertilizer, which is going to create some food problems, coming up, and we can see a food crisis happening. There could be an economic crisis. There already is, I think. Inflation, the cost of living is going insane. Chiron's coming into Taurus, and it's very fundamental. It's very basic. Food, clothing, shelter, and money is a means of obtaining, those things. Taurus is very simple. Simple, Simon says. And Mars in Taurus, Mars is a fiery planet. Go, charge, run, do. When it goes into Taurus, it's like, I think I'll sit on this rock and meditate for a little while. Do maybe some breath work. If I have to work, let's make it breath work. Yeah, I got a dirty camera here. So, and then the Sun goes into Cancer. From Gemini buzz, okay, to Cancer, feeling, water, the feminine energy of earth and water we're going to be getting for a little bit. And I say only for a couple of weeks because why? At the end of June, okay, Mars is going to go into Gemini, and Jupiter's going to go into Leo. So they're going to come out of earth and water, back into air and fire, and things are going to really start happening 4th of July weekend. I mean, by July and August, it's like the train's going to leave the station. So I want to encourage you to take this time, take this week, take a couple weeks. If you're going to go on a retreat, if you're going to, write something or paint something, or spend some time with your children, or spend some time, I'm going to be moving, so fixing up your home, working in the yard, but being out in nature. This is going to be just so healing. This is a very healing period here, especially with this transiting moon in Virgo for a couple of days, right? Yeah, coming up later on this week. And yeah, we don't need to future trip about, the next 7 years of Chiron, in Taurus, because like I say, it's going back into Aries. It's going to be at that 29th degree of Aries. I think we're going to have a critical, Mars, masculine, aggressive, anger, sex, just patriarchal, control, dominance, conquering issues going on here for, into 2027. Like I say, it doesn't really come into Taurus until April of 2027. So let's talk about that later. I want to read to you the Sabian symbol, okay, for the very first degree of Cancer. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's 87 to 90% of the world's population lives north of the equator. 68% of the land mass of planet Earth is north of the equator. The Greeks were north of the equator. A lot of astrology is based upon the seasons, especially the tropical zodiac, based upon the seasons in the northern hemisphere. Yeah. So here we're talking about the northern hemisphere. I actually put it on the little chart at the beginning. It's the solstice in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, this is the shortest day of the year. In the northern hemisphere, it's the longest day of the year. So right here on planet Earth, we have, things turned around and different kinds of experiences happening. Down in South Africa, it's cold down there, down to 11 degrees or something, I mean, right, and here it's up to, in Fahrenheit, 100 degrees. So we have these big switches here on planet Earth, but just, I want to give you an understanding of astrologically, 0 degrees Cancer, okay, is a turning point of what began in Aries. And that Aries, Taurus, Gemini has been I, me, my. Almost like the little kid, the first 7 years or something, where there's just a lot of unconsciousness, subconsciousness, and self-consciousness. The self-consciousness is just beginning to come. So it's almost like they're acting in a void, like a baby, just so in themselves. Aries, Taurus, Gemini is, then it hits this wall, this turning point of 0 degrees Cancer, pretty much from the eastern hemisphere of a birth chart to the western hemisphere of the birth chart. And the eastern is more self, and the western is more the other. So there's this turning point, okay, that we hit at 0 Aries. Oh, there's other people. Mama's watching, or, other people are watching. Society is watching. I need to protect myself. you know, I need to, there is this kind of, instant Cancerian, introverted holding back, maybe holding in and feeling, feeling and sensing that, okay, wow, there's me and, the outside. And this has to do with the raising up of the feminine energy. This masculine, extrovert, fire and air, going outward, Aries, Taurus, Gemini is just boom. I'm just putting out into the world. I'm acting, building, talking, it's out, 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 out. And then boom, you hit this turning point of the longest day in the year is the maximum yang energy. And then the days start to get shorter. On a ship, the sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. A radical change of allegiance, exteriorized in a symbolical act. What do you have allegiance to? It's a point of no return. I just signed these papers on Monday. I was like, this is it, man. Point of no return. We have now reached a square 90-degree angle to the beginning of the cyclic process. That was 0 degrees Aries 3 months ago. This is a moment of crisis, a sharp turning point. In the zodiacal cycle, at the summer solstice, the northern motion of the sun in declination stops. The sun rises and sets as far north of exact east and west as it can during the year's cycle. Its motion is now reversed. Slowly the sunset points move southward on the western horizon, and the length of the day decreases in the northern hemisphere. In the lunation cycle, from new moon to new moon, this is the first quarter phase. On the ship, which symbolizes the ego consciousness floating, as it were, on the sea of the vast unconscious. The individualized will makes a basic decision. The dominant yang force allows the yin force to begin its 6-month-long rise to power. The collective will gradually overcome the individual. And at the end, the state will overpower the person. Now, however, the individual person enjoys his most glorious hour. He exults in his ability to make a free decision, to act as an individual who selects his life goal and his allegiance. It's a decisive act heavy with consequences. The symbolic college youth might realize that he should bring to an end his quest for the ideal companion and enter into matrimony. He assents to the possibility of progeny, of home responsibility. His consciousness accepts a process of fundamental, in capital letters, reorientation, implying the stabilization of his energies. You kind of get this now? It's like, we spread out as far as we can. We spread our wings, or we buy our land, or, We make our garden as big as we can, and then we hit that wall, we hit that limit. This is as far as I'm going. This is as much money as I've got. This is as much time as I have. This is as much energy as I have. Boom. And then it's time to, okay, turn back and focus inward, this Cancerian energy. Focus on what you've got. It's like this yang expansion, exteriorization has reached its peak. We've gone as far as we can go. It's time to make peace with the war in Iran, right? It's just like, what? This is just it's time to just and stabilize, contract a little bit, relax a little bit, and center ourselves again. So this is a it doesn't, he says it's a crisis. It doesn't have to be a crisis, okay? But it is a reorientation, maybe from going out to focusing within and on what I've got and who I am. And it's time to put the compost in my garden, and it's time to plant if I haven't planted these seeds yet, and I need to pull the weeds, and I need to focus, on, what I have. And this is really supported, okay, with the Mars, in Taurus. And Leo is also very creative energies, right? I want to, so Venus up here in Leo, the moon in Leo, it's time to experience joy in how far we've come, in how big we are, in how beautiful the world is, right? Stop and smell the roses. It's been very, very busy. It took a lot to get us here. Let us rejoice and be glad. Absolutely, baby. As I let activity come to its natural close, sit still and feel the breeze. I experience the joy that naturally springs forth in a life lived with grace and ease. Take a nice, big, long, slow breath. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. Breathe it all the way down into the belly. And with that exhale, let go. We've come about as far as we can go. There's so many songs that came into my head. Shalom, my peace in all you do. But the first one that came up was, don't let the sun go down on me. There may also be this feeling of, I haven't gotten as far as I wanted. I'm not content. I didn't reach the goal. I didn't come in first place. Wait a minute. I'm not done yet. I've got, there can be also at this time, right? A sense of, no, don't let the yin forces rise. Right, I don't want to make my exhale longer than my inhale. Yeah, I want to do breath of fire. Yeah, I'm Steve. Yeah, but I don't. I'm really wanting more, 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 more. We're taught to want more. We are encouraged to want more. We are in Western societies that are built upon expansion. We have to continue to expand. We have to continue to consume. We have to continue to, to grow, and bigger is better, and more, more, more. This is like really deep programming. That there's never enough. And that I'm not enough if I don't have enough. It's because I'm not enough. And so, and this is a Taurus thing, my possessions are a reflection of my value and my worth. And so I want beautiful, whatever, to reflect, blah, 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 or expensive things to reflect how, I am, worthy and important. Or so there is a lot of, cultural, societal, perhaps in your family, get out there and get a job and get, bop, 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 and look at the neighbors, look at the Joneses, and compare yourself with your peers, and, other people that graduated the same time as you have a job by now. And they're halfway up the corporate ladder and you're still hitchhiking. Whatever. I mean, we gotta, yeah. This is definitely another time of Cancer is very much tuned into my own personal feelings and my own personal needs. So yes, ultimately the collective will, absorb or control or dominate, but we still have Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So, we've been subjectively putting ourselves out there, but now we begin to put ourselves out there in a different way, in a more conscious way. And we have more of a conscious creative expression coming forward to where we're on stage and we're being seen, and it's like, yeah. So there is this, there is still this time period, and we can even look at the rest of the summer as this period where it's time to play. Venus has gone into Leo, Jupiter's gone into Leo. It is time to play. Recreation. Recreate. Have fun. Mess around. It's so important. And Leo is about finding joy in what we have in daily life, in each and every moment. So yeah, let's instead of focusing on, what we don't have, the glass is half empty, and I don't have this, and I'm missing that, and I wish I had that, and da da da. Let's focus on the glass is half full. Oh my God. Look at this beautiful river. Thank God for the sun. And thank God for this body that I'm still breathing and walking and hiking. And thank God for da 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 da. And it just really, and I think that's what nature does. It really brings us more into our bodies and more into the present moment. And more into what's really lasting. Yeah. Longer than our skyscrapers, buildings, and electric cars. These rocks are 4 million years old. I'm buying this house from a gold miner. He's been here 43 years. And he's like a geologist. He knows the whole, like, the Pacific and San Francisco and LA and the plates. And I mean, he knows all about the geology. It's amazing. And Gaia has been here long before us and is going to be here long after us, for sure. So let's live in the moment, and let's, go for the gusto. And you may feel like "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," but the next song that came is what? And we lived a life of ease in our yellow submarine. So if you're feeling down and out, you can play "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." Or you can play, "Yeah, we all live in a fucking yellow submarine, baby." And you can pop on the Beatles. One more time for the mantra for this week. Memorize it, pin it on your mirrors, say it over and over again. I love this one, right? As I let activity come to its natural close. Like, done. I swung the bat, I went to the store and came home. I had that conversation. I uploaded that video. I'm done. Activity comes to a natural close once the goal is achieved. And the goal is masculine. And then enjoying what has been achieved is the feminine. So we can look at this actually as like, it's time, to, experience the fruits of our labor. All right, I'm going to stop preaching. As I let activity come to its natural close, sit still and feel the breeze. I experience the joy that naturally springs forth in a life lived with grace and ease. May you live your life with grace and ease. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. Ciao, ciao.